Hey guys, welcome back to another very special video on this YouTube channel. This is a video of a tier list that me and Buck T, who is a tier 2 pro player in Fortnite scene, has made from scratch, right, on this new chapter, because a lot of people are confused. A lot of people don't know what the items are like, what items are special, what items are very high priority, and what items are completely useless, right? So it's very clear cut. It tells you exactly why these items are good, right, and what scenarios you can actually use them in. It's a very, detailed and in-depth video from two very experienced competitive players' perspectives, and I think this will give you guys a real insight onto how these items should be ranked. Tell me how it is in the comment sections afterwards, and enjoy the video, guys. Okay, where do you think we should put the first gun? What are your opinions on that?
100% broken.
Put in the S++?
S++, all that.
You think even after the update? You think that's actually still
even
in that
after
section?
the update, I think it's still broken.
I don't agree,
all the
honestly.
other guns.
Okay, the only thing that I think is S++ is actually not necessarily the only thing, but I think the SMG has to be there. You can agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's for sure up here, right? But yeah, I don't think that the MK7 is actually S+ now. I think it's actually more in line with like what it needs to be. Think about it in competitive, right? Like if you're playing competitive and you're trying to only hold two guns, right? That's ideally what you want to do. And you're holding MK7 and Shotty only, right? And ideally Striker Shotty, which is usually really low fire rate. It's going to be really bad for you to get into a box and then pump and then 50-50 with an MK7, which is really weird. I personally think it's S here, like maybe A, but we'll put it S to like take the average of our opinions. Yeah, next gun. Yeah. AK or Ranger. So basically the AK.
I would put that as A.
Okay.
After the buff, like it's pretty strong after playing arena with it.
Yeah, and if you think about it in competitive, like in context of competitive, it's really good for surge. If extremely accurate, and the reset first shot accuracy after your shot is really fast. A is fair. It's not a fighting gun, it's a surge gun. Okay, next gun. Sidearm pistol.
Sidearm pistol, like depending on the color, like I could either put that on A or B. Because
really,
I'm pretty sure like a white does 25 damage. Which is 4 shots to the body off spawn, or like 4 shots is 100 HP. Which is, when you kind of think about it like numbers wise, it's kind of broken. Not broken, but like it's kind of strong compared to the other
strong,
pistol.
yeah.
But like it's probably not on the same level as the Ranger though, so I'd definitely put a B.
Yeah, I think it's like even below that. Like if we really had to like put it somewhere, I would think C or D, just because I feel like it's just like a off spawn gun, like something you just pick up to fight, like just because you have it, but I don't see it being used after you loot up. I think it's C. So in that case, I feel like it's just like an off spawn gun. You find it in a house and you use it to fight, and then you drop it after. Like you literally have no use for it.
That makes sense. Yeah,
that's my opinion. Okay, auto shotgun. This one's interesting. This one's actually really interesting. I think a lot of people are gonna have varying opinions on this, and I think our opinions will also change over the season. So what they did to the auto shotgun, if you guys don't know, is basically they reduced the pullout time. So the pullout time is really quick compared to like what it used to be. What that does for you is reduce the gun swap delay that you have in box fights. And obviously from all the videos you might have watched on my channel, you know that gun swap delay is really bad when you have to box fight. I'm curious where you would put this. What do you think?
To be honest, I'd put it C. But that's because I'm pretty sure they also buffed the striker pullout time, no?
They buffed the accuracy and the fire rate. So that's what they essentially did.
Accuracy. Yeah. I would see people putting it B. Definitely not A though.
Definitely not A. I don't think it's A. Maybe my opinion will change, but I definitely don't think it's A. I think B is a really good spot for it.
No, I would put it C because like I still pick up a striker over auto shotgun from just playing today for a couple hours. Like I just don't feel like the buff was that significant, because like the damage is still pretty low on it, like compared to the attack. If you want to compare to the attack, like,
the actual damage on players is very low. Yeah, I agree with that. Let's say in a really stacked lobby. So the way I see competitive is you have like game 1 of trio FNCS of any round. Usually maybe like later rounds it'll be different, but like maybe in like opens and quarters of FNCS, you'll have game 1 to be really W key, right? So in those sorts of games, I think you can get away with holding 3 guns. In really stacked triple surge competitive games, like pro games, I don't think you can get away with holding 3 guns. If you are, it's a genuine detriment to you. There's so many items that you have to hold, and launch pads obviously are not reliable unless you completely claim an entire POI. Like if you had to only hold 1 gun, would you pick the striker or the auto? Do you see what I mean? It's not a good position to be sitting in if you only have a striker shotgun. The auto shotgun can take a wall, edit, replace, and then shoot again, which is really, really nice. I think I do think the striker is better in majority of cases, but I do think the auto shotgun has a place in competitive in very specific scenarios. I think it's B, but you think it's C. I think what we can do is compromise and put it like this is going to be an order, right? So what I think we would do is put it in like the front of C. I really agree with you. Like, it's really bad in terms of the numbers. Like, the damage is horrible, but as the season progresses, like, we're going to see some changes and maybe some people holding it. Like, I literally saw Creo pick up a gold tack over like a blue striker in a 2-gun setup. Moving on. What do you think about this?
Striker, I was going to put that B.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, we're putting Ranger A and Striker. Actually, shotguns do suck this meta. I would actually agree with that. Yeah, that does make sense. I don't know. Shotguns this season are just not relevant, right? And it's very interesting to see Fortnite played this way, but it's just how it is. We're gonna have to deal with it. Next item, the sniper.
I mean,
this is interesting.
Like, the sniper is super balanced. This is what snipers like should have been from the beginning, in my opinion. I would put that at like B, to be honest. But like on a balance, okay, like, I feel like it's balanced. I don't think it's overpowered, right?
It's definitely not overpowered, yeah. So, what would you think of it in terms of like an item slot, like taking up an item slot? Like, think about it that way and think about it in competitive. Like, what do you feel like it would sit in then? Like, do you still think it fits in B? I guess this tier list is sort of like, what would you pick up in a competitive match? So I don't think it's B. I do think it's in the C slot. I think it would go right here. Me personally. You don't have to match my opinion. I'm just curious what you think.
No, I mean, because the thing is, like, if you're really good with the sniper, right? Assuming that sniper is like a lower tier and like no one's gonna pick it up in competitive, that means that everyone's gonna overpeak, right?
Yep.
Like when they're holding kids or whatever, especially right now with like MK7s and like how broken it is, everyone's gonna overpeak for surge. Like, there's holding that red dot. Yeah. So maybe like snipers are good to punish that.
It is a really good thing, especially if you're really skilled with it. But then questioning it, like especially after all these items, like, I think what we can do is put it B for now, like right here. And then reorganize. Like, we're gonna reevaluate towards the end after we put all of these in, because then like it makes more sense to compare. Okay, next item, Harpoon.
Harpoon is definitely S tier, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's so strong in a meta where especially MK7 and SMG is prevalent, which means a lot of people are getting get server sprayed. I mean, there's a whole bunch of tactics that you can do to make sure that it's not you that gets server sprayed, but that's a whole other video, it's a whole other topic, so we'll leave that be. But knowing that the meta is a spray meta and a lot of people are gonna get focused on rotates, this is a very strong impact item. I think you should even hold 2 if possible, but that's like another opinion. Some people would not agree with that, but I think Harpoon is a busted item. You need to genuinely find fish and barrel routes, right? That's a very secret thing that I feel like a lot of people will not understand or even appreciate until they play competitive a long time. Harpoons are very, very strong. If you play enough scrims, you'll understand the difference between a scrim where you don't have a harpoon and you really need an impact, and you do have a harpoon and you really need an impact, right? And the games where you don't have a harpoon, you sort of have to force yourself to do something at like 600 mats, because you know there's literally no other way you're gonna find a kill. But when you have a harpoon in your inventory, you can play a lot safer, even if you're scuffed, just because of the fact that you know, like, hey, in the back of my mind, I'm like, if I see loot, I can just pull it, right? Even if it's not right next to me. And I think that's something that's really strong about the Harpoon. I don't think it's S++, but I do think it's S tier for sure. 100%. Guzzle Juice. This is interesting. So this got changed, okay? I believe this is what it was, right? So if you guys don't know how the Guzzle Juice works, first of all, it drops from the ice boxes that are scattered around the map along with the Chug Splashes, but that's another item. But the Guzzle Juice heals you until you take damage, right? And it only heals your whites, right? So let's say you're 1 HP whites and full shield and you pop Guzzle Juice, it will heal you all the way unless someone tags you or even storm tags you. But in general, it's not a storm tanking item. It's just a quick, let me fix my heals item. What do you think about this? Where would this go?
The only practical use I see is in fights. And it does heal really fast.
What about moving zones where you're tarping with your duo, but you're not like in back zone, you're tanking, or you're not tanking rather, and you take a lot of damage, but you're not holding whites. What about that? What do you think about that?
I mean, are you saying like when you tank zone to like tarp ahead of zone, tank zone, come back and then pop heals, or are you like saying like tank zone to take
that too? That is actually, honestly, I didn't even think about that, right? Like, so if you think about the bandy cannon meta back then, where people were holding bandish cannon, right, or slurp cannon, what the tarpers would do in very high elo games was be to tank storm ahead of storm to claim more pieces on their layer, so whoever's contesting their layer wouldn't have a chance to get in front of them. So what some people might not know is you can hold these in stacks of 2. So I think there's multiple uses for this for sure. What else? I mean, there's one other scenario, like where if you're just tarping and you get beamed by someone, right, and you want to get back to full HP, I feel like it's good for that, and I think this can actually have a lot of value for you. I would put this in B tier, to be honest with you.
I would put it B tier too. Yeah.
I would put it B tier, but where would you put it relative to these things? I think right here it makes sense.
Yeah. 100%.
Med Mist. Easy way we can evaluate the Med Mist is compare it to the Guzzle Juice, right?
Yeah.
But like, I don't think it's better than the Guzzle Juice. I don't know what you think.
I think it's better than the Guzzle Juice because Med Mist has heal off potential.
It has some heal off potential, yes. It's not faster than Storm, so it heals 5 per second. But what it has really good potential for, in my opinion, the way I think about Med Mist, the one thing that it has over the Guzzle Juice is, first of all, you can use it while running, right? Which is really nice. The Guzzle Juice takes like 2.5 seconds to pop, but the Med Mist you can literally use while you're running in a tarp. So for example, your tarper gets beamed, there is no downtime. If you, as the fragger or holding the Med Mist, you can then right click onto the tarper while he's completing his job. Like, he doesn't have to stop. And especially you can Med Mist teammates that are healing as well. That's one point. The other point is, if someone is 70 white for whatever reason, maybe they got sniped and they don't have whites, Med Mist can just top them off for that 30 HP, and then you still have 120 HP left. Notice with Guzzle Juice, you have 2 stacks, right? Like 2 stacks of Guzzle Juice, which means like it's not a really good item for just topping off little bits of white HP. Whereas the Med Mist is really good for that. It's situational. I feel like it's good. It's better than the Guzzle Juice in some situations. The Guzzle Juice is way better than Med Mist in other situations.
Yeah.
But I feel like people would just
in general though, like Med Mist, I feel like it's way more practical than Guzzle Juice.
It does feel more practical. I feel like this is like you need to be in perfect scenario to actually get it off, right? Where would you put this?
I would put it like left of Guzzle Juice.
That's exactly, yeah. I was not kidding. I was thinking exactly that. Peppers. This is interesting. This is different from Chili Chug Splash. We have that item. What's your opinion on peppers?
There's a lot more peppers on the map right now. Like a lot more, I feel like. So peppers is one of those things where it's like if you had peppers, you were at a way higher advantage than everyone else because you can move faster, like you can take low ground faster, you can take high ground better. Like,
yep.
But if there's like a influx of peppers on the map, then the value kind of goes down, you know?
100%. Like, it is less valuable compared to the previous season. So previous seasons, places like Caddy, places like Retail, places like Orchard would make a lot of sense because the value in those POIs is the peppers. Like, that's why you're going there. This season, it is so common, right?
Yeah.
However, I do think that every time you see one, you should probably pick it up. How do you think
100%.
about that? Yeah.
I know. I agree. I think you need to hold peppers, but like, is it either A or B tier? That's like the question.
I think it's A. Yeah, I think it's A over Ranger.
Would you drop a utility for that, like a harpoon, or would you drop like a big pot instead of minis?
So this is where item prioritization gets really weird because there comes down to the question of there's a lot of factors in this, which is why intuition with items is really important, right? Because there's no like cheat sheet for this, right? You can only like have like a general sense of how good an item is, and then after that you just have to make your decision based on playstyle, based on what zone you're currently in, right? Because you sometimes in old meta you would pick up a medkit in moving zone number 1 because you know you're going to heal off, and big pots become like pretty useless in moving zone. So sometimes people would drop big pots for medkits, even though in zone 1 and 2 everyone would hold big pots, right? So it's really relevant to what zone you're in, and it's very important to know as well, like the area that you're in and how many peppers, like all these things matter. We can just give it an approximation, but I don't think we can, you know, put an ideal loadout.
I think right side of Ranger is what I'm feeling.
Yeah, let's go with it. Gas can. What do you think about this? You like the gas can a lot in certain situations. So what situation is that?
It's definitely like just an off spawn thing. Especially at woody POIs, like where there's a lot of wood.
Yep.
Other than that, like no one else is holding them.
It used to be crazy, but I don't think a lot of people are holding. I think what we need to do is put another tier slot here called situational, right? Because it is a really good item if you're scuffed, right? And you have nothing else to hold, and you would rather hold that over like, I don't know, like an extra like med kit, because you need to get an impact, and the best way to do that is to like start the fight off with good momentum by gas canning someone's base, and maybe getting them server sprayed as a result of that, and then also having the grass underneath them on fire. I think it should go in situational, because if you're stacked, it makes no sense to hold one, but if you're not stacked, it's like genuinely like an A tier item, right? It makes a lot of sense to hold it. Okay. Chug Splash.
Chug Splash is definitely A tier.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I think we all know why though. Like So 6 splashes in duos, that's 40 times 6.
Yep.
What is that, like
240.
240, yeah. So
40 like effective
240,
HP, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You think it goes here, or where? In A tier?
Probably the left side of peppers.
Yep, fair enough. But do you think Ranger is better than Chug Splash and Peppers? See, this is where it gets weird now.
Yeah, like theoretically, like you'd rather hold Ranger over Chugs and Peppers, right? Like, kind of have to.
Gotta have to hold the gun.
Like it's a gun, right? And compared to HP.
It's really weird to compare a gun to heals. Even though the Ranger is really good surge wise, right? Because it's so accurate, but feels really weird putting it above Peppers and Chug Splash.
No, I feel that, yeah. I would maybe put Chug Splash on the left then, and then Ranger in the middle. But like, I don't think like, Peppers are definitely far.
Peppers are really common. I think they are not that crazy. But like, it's, if you find some, you should hold them. But it's like everyone has them. Like literally every POI has them. So
yeah,
fair enough. Yeah. I think this is a lot more accurate. Okay, Chili Chug Splash. What do you think about this?
That's broken.
This is really good. Yeah. The reason why it's weird is because it's really hard to find. But if you can't find it, it's broken for sure. Launch pads.
Right now, launch pads are scary, man. Airs are broken right now. Like launch pads are, you know, it's not like in trios you can launch pad, everyone else is in the air. Like it's not like that anymore.
With the ability to short pad and be able to do that like really reliably, do you still think it's like a really weird item? Like I think like the problem is people just don't understand how to launch pad properly, right? They don't really like if you put it in the hands of a pro, they will not mess up with it. I don't think it's like busted. I don't know. I feel like it's better than Chili Chug. No, it's not. It's not.
Like I would put it S tier in my opinion.
Yeah.
I would have put it A tier, but like, if you know how to use it, then it's kind of like.
I like this. I would actually prefer the Harpoon over Launchpad. I'm not even kidding. Because you can genuinely harpoon everything else. Like if there's a kill out there, you can harpoon a launch pad. But if you had just a launch pad, you can't harpoon mats. Like it makes a lot more sense. This is way more flexible for you, right? And with duos being such a like aggressive mode compared to trios, double harpoon being a strat is really nice on brick walls to insta break them. And in general, it's just like a really good item. So I think it would go under harpoon. Cars. This is a weird one, but I think vehicles must be included. Because some places, some POIs genuinely don't have vehicles, right? So then you have to take that into account.
Because of Quadcrashers though, like there's a lot of Quadcrasher on the map. I feel like. Also feel like you in duos you have to rotate with a vehicle, and not even just duos in any game mode. Like you should have a vehicle. You want to be ahead of everyone else, you know?
Yes.
That's what cars do.
You want to be able to quick get to whatever position you want to get to, and if you want to go dead side for whatever reason, right? Based on the game. Cars enable you to do that. Just have a good game sense using cards, but other than that, I think first zone, second zone, it's really essential. And sometimes even you can get away with it in third zone, which is really nice.
I would put it like right side of Peppers or like
first. I'm not even kidding. I was literally thinking right side of Peppers. Yeah. I think it's really good for competitive. Like arena, pubs, whatever, right? Like, it doesn't really matter. You can do whatever you want in arena. But in here, it matters a lot. Quadcrasher. This is interesting. Better or worse than a car?
There's a skill to it, you know. If you're good at quad flying, I would make it better than cars.
Yes. In surge games, right? Like you can get to hills much faster than certain people if you use the Quadcrasher correctly.
That's the only downside to quads is like you can get lasered on it like way easier, right?
I also think it has, I might be wrong on this, but it has 500 HP. If you get blown out in midair and you're high enough, like you're just dead. That's the sketch part of it, of flying. But I think this is like the same situation with cars and launch pads. If you scrim enough, you'll know exactly when you can fly and when you can't fly. But otherwise, the amount of speed you get to going to a certain position with the Quadcrasher is ridiculous. It is such a good tempo item that I think it is better than cars, but not that much better than cars because of the risk associated with it as well. I would put it here.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like this is a good list, honestly. Fireflies.
Fireflies, I'd put like D tier. They have utility though. Like, don't get me wrong. If you pull first zone in like a foresty area, having Fireflies could be good to break trees so you can get surge easy, right? On kids rotating into you. That's
could be good that way. Could be good that way.
That's what people did at Weeping. When they pull Weeping Zone, they break all the trees with Fireflies and Gaskins and shit.
Let's say you had Greasy Grove on con, like you had all that loot to yourself. Would you go with Fireflies then?
Probably not. There's not that many trees.
So in my opinion, this would go right here.
Oh, situational, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. To me, it's like that, right? Doesn't make a lot of sense to sort of.
Yeah.
Okay, floppers, medkits. What do you think? Last two items.
To be honest, I feel like floppers is left of medmiss.
Floppers are definitely better than medmiss in my opinion.
Yeah.
Medmiss is 150 effective HP, so even if you like perfectly use medmiss, it's still less HP. And then floppers have a really nice utility of being able to tank storm, where this actually can't tank tick storm. I think it would go here or here. I think it would go here, especially, you know, you make a good point. Like, why would you hold like white heals when you have chug splashes and they're like so prevalent in the map? Chug splashes are so common, which means if you want a source of whites, just hold Chug Splash, because they can heal shield situationally and whites situationally based on what you need. Also, the time it takes to actually accumulate floppers is very difficult. I think this makes a lot of sense to me. I think floppers is one of those items where, like, if you get an impact late game and you find them, sure, I'll pick them up, right? But I'm not going to go out of my way off spawn to find these and get them. Medkits.
I mean, with Medmiss and Guzzle Juice, man, like, Medkits are just kind of like the worst white heal, bro.
They're actually,
bandages, I guess, but
yeah, we're not including bandages. It's just horrible. Yeah. I guess we can bandages just go here, but yeah, medkits are bad. I think they go here, to be honest with you. I think it go like literally right here.
I put it on the right of pistol, to be honest.
That's true. I don't think it matters left or right. I'm down to put it to the right of it.
There, yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, I like this list. This actually, like, honestly, going through this gives me a better perspective of competitive, because like no one actually goes through this stuff and like looks at it. Now I like, if I play a scrim, I have a really good understanding of like what I should be picking up. To be honest, this discussion has been like really helpful, and anyone watching this video should find it helpful as well. That's good. Thank you, Buckty, for hopping onto the video and making this tier list with me. I think it was very helpful to have a second opinion.
No problem.
Yes, sir. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.